To surprise my wife, I worked part-time for 3 months, bought a diamond ring, and secretly rushed home for Christmas. When I opened the door, instead of a cozy dinner, I saw my intellectually disabled sister chained to the radiator like a dog. She was filthy and smelly, clutching a moldy, hard bun tightly in her hand, grinning foolishly at me. And on the floor in front of her, 2 pale, naked bodies were entangled together. My world collapsed. While grappling with my own grief, I tried to push Leo away. When Amy was herself, she loved you more than anything, I told him, my heart breaking. She wouldn't want you to waste your life on her now. As her brother, I'm making the decision for her. You two should get a divorce. Leo gripped Amelia's hand, tears streaming down his face as he shook his head fiercely. I will never leave her. Never. Not even in death. His devotion was absolute. In a moment of naive gratitude for his loyalty, I signed over all inheritance rights to Amelia's company to him. Linda, consumed by guilt, locked herself in her room, drinking herself into oblivion. It was Leo who finally kicked her door down and doused her with a bucket of cold water. If you want to make things right with Amelia, he yelled, then you'll get your ass up and help me protect her company and this family. From that day on, Linda became a different person. She joined the company and shouldered the burden of caring for us all. At the time, I was drowning in grief and uncertainty. Linda's constant presence and support became my only lifeline. We got married, and by my sister's hospital bed, she swore she would take care of me for the rest of her life, just as Amelia would have wanted. Linda's phone rang, pulling me from the depths of my memories. Leo, as if desperate to escape the past, suddenly became talkative. Don't be mad at Linda, he said, a smug tone creeping into his voice. She's the CEO of a publicly traded company now. She's a very busy woman. He rolled up his sleeve, deliberately flashing a limited edition vintage watch. She got this for me last month for my birthday. Flew to an auction in Paris to get it. Linda ended her call. What are you two talking about? Leo took her hand, his touch sickeningly affectionate. I was just saying, Paul's clothes look a little worn. I'll pick out a few of my old suits for him later. My voice was devoid of all emotion. Don't bother. I wouldn't want anything you've touched. Leo's face turned ugly. What's that supposed to mean? I met his gaze directly. You know exactly what it means. If it hadn't been for that night, for that accident, it should have been my sister standing here now, successful and triumphant. Amelia's descent into a childlike state was a wound in my heart that would never heal. But life had to go on. In the darkest hours of the night, I would find a sliver of comfort, thankful that Amelia had left me with 2 people who were closer than family. The night before I left for grad school, Linda promised me again and again that she would take perfect care of Amelia. Lost in despair, I clung to her words like a drowning man to a raft. I believed her, and at first, she was flawless. She seemed determined to give me all the love Amelia no longer could. Every 2 weeks, she would fly to my city, terrified I might be feeling lonely or neglected. Paul, she would say, her eyes shining. The day the first snow falls, we'll have our wedding. We'll be the happiest couple in the world. The city where I studied was known for its year-round warmth, but that winter was unusually cold. The forecast predicted the first snow in 50 years would fall on Christmas Day. I used the money I'd earned from a part-time job to buy a diamond ring. I secretly bought a ticket home, planning to surprise them. But when I opened the door to our home, the surprise was mine. There was my sister, chained to a radiator, emaciated and frail, and in front of her, on the floor, were 2 naked, writhing bodies. A glacial cold seized me. I trembled, bile rising in my throat. I didn't know what was worse, the fury over how they'd abused my sister, or the sickening sting of their betrayal. The 2 most important people in my life had betrayed me. Together, my mind went blank. But Amelia, in her fog, saw me first. My sister, who had always been so meticulous about her appearance, was now filthy, her hair a matted nest. She held out a dirty, stale bread roll to me. Piol. Eat. The tears I'd been holding back for months finally broke free. I lunged forward, a guttural roar ripping from my chest, and swung my fist at Leo's face with all my strength. He shrieked, scrambling to his knees before me. Paul, I know I've wronged you. I've wronged Amy, but I'm not even 30 yet. I can't spend the rest of my life tied to an invalid. But I had offered him his freedom. He was the one who had sworn he would never leave her. Did he think he could have it all? Linda and we're in love, he stammered. I won't challenge your position as her husband, I swear. I'll take good care of your sister, I promise. Just let me stay with Linda. The 4 of us can still be together, can't we? My sister had always shielded me from the world's darkness. This was the first time I had come face to face with such vile, selfish treachery. I raised my hand to strike him again, but Linda slapped it away. Amelia, terrified by the commotion, began to wail, but a primal instinct took over. She threw her frail body against the iron chain, again and again, until with a sickening crack, her ankle snapped, and she broke free. Dragging her broken leg, she threw her arms around me, shielding me with her own body. The wooden stool Linda hurled at me crashed down on Amelia's head instead. Warm blood soaked my hands. Numb with shock, I fumbled for my phone to call for an ambulance. But Linda, now dressed, calmly walked over and crushed it under her heel. I had seen her mischievous, happy, and guilty. But this was the first time I had seen such cold, calculated cruelty in her eyes. If you want this idiot to live, she hissed, you will shut your mouth. Your position as my husband is secure. I'll even get the best doctors for your sister, but you will never, ever mention what you saw between Leo and me again. My poor, confused sister didn't understand what was happening, but she clumsily tried to wipe away my tears. Piol, don't cry. Amy's here. I surrendered. After their initial panic, Linda and Leo became brazen. Rumors of their affair spread through our social circle. People called them ungrateful parasites. The scandal even threatened the company's plans to go public. Then, the most important thing happened. Linda got pregnant. She came to me with a demand. She wanted a divorce, and she wanted me to publicly confess that my sister and I were the third parties who had ruined her relationship with Leo. Paul, if you let your pride get in the way, she threatened, her voice chillingly calm, "You will never see Amelia again." She wasn't bluffing. I searched everywhere, but my sister was gone. Defeated, I knelt before her like a stray dog. In front of countless media cameras, I bowed my head and confessed my sins, publicly apologizing to her and Leo. It was Amelia who drugged Leo and seduced him. It was me who deliberately sabotaged their love. As I read the confession they had written for me, a script full of twisted lies, my first instinct was to run. But Linda leaned in close and played a voice recording from her phone. It was Amelia, her voice weak and slurred. "P.all. So cold." I bit down so hard I thought my teeth would crack, and I read every last word. The crowd stared at me with contempt, disgust, and morbid curiosity. I don't know how I left that press conference. All I wanted was to see my sister, to know she was safe. But a nurse at the care facility told me that Amelia had seen the video of me kneeling. She had become agitated, demanding to go find me, and had slipped away. The next time I saw my sister, she was a cold, lifeless body in the morgue. She was covered in filth, her body broken. Clutched in her hand was a crumpled paper airplane, a toy I had loved as a child. I beat the homeless men who had assaulted her until they were bloody, but it didn't change anything. I would never hear her call my name again. I held her body and sobbed until I had nothing left. Meanwhile, my phone lit up with headlines celebrating the fairy tale romance of tech world darlings Linda and Leo. How could I not hate them? I arranged my sister's funeral alone. With a fruit knife tucked in my pocket, I went to their company's IPO ceremony, ready to take them down with me. I burst in, but I was too naive. Before I could even get close, security guards had me pinned to the floor. In front of all the cameras, I screamed the truth, crying out about their shamelessness, hoping to ruin them. But I was no match for them. "He's suffering from a mental breakdown due to his sister's passing," Linda announced calmly to the press. "We are so sorry for the disturbance. I promise, we will ensure he never has the opportunity to harm anyone again." They had all the power and resources they needed to crush a powerless orphan like me. I was charged with assault and sent to prison. When I was released 2 years later, the world had moved on. Linda was the revered CEO of a major tech corporation. I couldn't even get past the front gate of her company campus, let alone get my revenge. Linda opened her mouth to say something, but my phone rang. "Paul, I'm here." A warmth spread through my chest, and I jogged downstairs to meet her. As I led Maya up the stairs, I could hear arguing from inside the apartment. Why are you just giving him half the shares?" It was Leo's voice, shrill with anger. "Your eyes have been glued to him since he walked in. Am I invisible to you? If you ever go near him again, I swear I can have him thrown back in prison." And this time, the sound of a sharp slap cut him off. "The company belonged to his sister in the first place." Linda's voice was laced with fury. "It was Amelia who took you in when you were homeless, who paid off your debts. Without her, you'd be rotting in a gutter somewhere. After everything we did to him, aren't you afraid Amelia's ghost will come back to haunt you?" Hearing them mention my sister filled me with a sudden, weary disgust. I pushed the door open. They both fell silent. Linda's eyes fixed on the woman whose hand was intertwined with mine. Her voice was a raw whisper. "Who is she?" "My fiancée."